want to stop and correct yourself or think of something else to say, you just let me know. I'm going to start by having you say and spell your complete name. Say and spell your complete name.
Right now.
Yeah, right now it's fine. Yeah,
Eugene Verhamme.
And you can spell it for me?
Pardon?
And spell it for me?
Oh, V-E-R,
No,
E-U,
Eugene.
E-U-G-E-N-E, V-E-R-H-A-M-M-E.
Okay, good deal. And the unit that you served with in the 10th Mountain Division?
I was with I Company of the 85th Regiment.
And the year that you were inducted or enlisted?
1943, March of 1943.
And the highest rank served?
Sergeant.
And tell me what attracted you to the 10th Mountain Division, or what prompted you to want to be in the 10th Mountain Division?
Well, to start with, I like skiing. And one thing, when I went into the service, I thought, I don't want to go over the Pacific. It gets too hot, you know, hot weather and musty weather. So I thought, I'll go try to get in. And then I found out about the 10th Mountain Division. So that's how I happened to get in. But
did you have 3 letters of recommendation?
I had to have 3 letters of recommendation to get in, yes.
Who were they from?
One was from a state senator, and there was, 2 of them were from businessmen in Gladstone, the city I lived in.
Have any clue what was in your letters?
I don't remember.
Did they have to lie?
No, I didn't have to lie.
Just checking. You never know what they had to say. I always like to ask. So did you come directly to Camp Hale once you were inducted?
Right. I went from Escanaba to Fort Sheridan, Illinois, and then from Fort Sheridan we were inducted and went right to Camp Hale.
And was 85I your primary unit? Always with them?
No, I started out with I of the 86th.
I-86.
And then they didn't have I of the 85th yet then, so they formed the 85th. That's when I went into the 85th.
Did you have a specific duty, like a scout or a BAR guy, or did you have a particular thing you were training for?
Well, not. I started out as training to be a sniper, because I was a fairly good shot when I was, out of the service. Had a lot to do with shooting and guns and everything.
Were you a sniper throughout your service then?
Until I became a sergeant, and then I really was more or less, yeah.
What does it take to be a good sniper?
Well, they take your score that you had on the range, and then they go from there.
When you were a sniper, like what are some of the things that you had to do when you were in battle to?
Well, really, we didn't do any really precision shooting then. It was, in fact, I had a rifle with a scope on it, and I traded that quite quickly for an automatic rifle because I didn't want to be ejecting those shells. I could just pull the trigger.
Right, so you had one shot as a sniper, right? So you wanted to have some more.
Well, yeah, you had more shots, but you took your time,
Okay.
A different type of a rifle that you used.
How good of a skier were you when you entered the 10th?
Yeah, it was fairly good. Not no expert, but.
Do you think it was harder to turn soldiers into skiers or skiers into soldiers?
I think soldiers into skiing.
How come?
Well, not a lot, but quite a few of the guys, they couldn't get enough guys in the division because they didn't have enough sign up. So they carried an outfit from someplace in Arkansas. I think it was an armored division, and they brought them all in with us. Some guys had never seen skis at all before. Well, they had one hell of a time to learn with the backpacks and everything else. So.
Did you go on D series?
Yep, D series.
What was the most difficult part of D series for you?
The most difficult was the tactical maneuvers that we had, we weren't allowed fires or smoking cigarettes or anything like that, and got as cold as 30 below while we were on maneuvers. And that actually we had a rougher time in our training in the States than we did when overseas, other than the shooting. The training was real stiff as far as training.
Now, when you were on D series, do you remember if you're on the red team or the blue team?
I don't remember.
Do you remember any ambushes? Do you remember setting up ambushes?
Nope.
No.
No.
Okay. During D series, do you remember making any long night treks?
Yes, we did go. And then we had on D series, we had to run a lot of wiring and everything for the communication.
And how much snow were you doing that in?
Well, I don't know. It was deep, lots of snow. Especially, I think it was on Easter Sunday in 1944 that they really had one hell of a blizzard, and that we were in on that. So
How many feet came down during that blizzard?
I have no idea. Must have been 3-4, maybe.
Like when you woke up in the morning, what did you see?
Covered up with snow. Yeah.
When you went to sleep the night before, were you on top of the snow?
Well, no. Most of the time you would sleep. You'd dig a hole in the snow and sleep in the snow. Or we had pup tents too that they used.
And when you woke up that morning, what did you find out?
Lots of snow. Dig out.
You had a long way to dig, didn't you?
Yes.
Did your whole unit all find each other right away?
Oh yeah. We're pretty well organized as far as.
I had one guy who got left behind on that. He didn't dig out in time and everybody left him.
Well,
Yeah, so I always like to ask, now that I know that, I always like to ask, anybody get left? Because it turned out a lot of them. Did you prefer to be out on maneuvers, or did you prefer to be in Camp Hale?
well, we were out of maneuvers most of the time. We were out in the field maybe 3 weeks out of a month. No, we were out on maneuvers all the time.
What did you prefer?
Well, maneuvers weren't too bad. Naturally, after a while, it was better to be in at camp than it was in the bush.
What was the hardest thing about maneuvers?
The weather. The weather was the hard part. Putting up with the cold, especially the cold.
Well, after Camp Swift, would you say the same thing?
That was just the opposite. I think 2 days before we left Colorado was, I think we had snow flurries. When we got to Camp Swift, it was 105. So it was quite a change in the temperature. But we thought we were in heaven when we got to Camp Swift. It was so nice and warm and hot. But after a while, that wasn't so good either.
At Camp Hale, did it seem like work, or did it seem sort of like play?
Well, we were young, full of pea and vinegar. It was more play for it. We thought it was quite a bit of play. We enjoyed it at the time.
Did you have a sense when you were at Camp Hale that the 10th Mountain was already special?
Well, we knew it was the only outfit like it in the service, so we had to think it was some kind of a special outfit, yes.
Could you tell already that there was going to be a special camaraderie?
I think so, seeing that we were all together so long. We were almost 3 years with the same group, which is very unusual when you're in the service.
What kinds of things would you do in your off time at Camp Hale?
Well, we like to ski. We never had enough money to go to town, so we'd either ski or
Leadville.
Oh yeah, we went a couple of times in 2 years.
I guess that sort of sticks out.
Yeah.
You've only been a couple times in 3 years or something. What was the most dangerous experience that you remember from training?
I think the mountain climbing was teaching us to mountain climb, which we had never done before. It was all with ropes.
What do you remember thinking while you were doing it?
Well, it wasn't bad, I tell you. It wasn't bad going up, but it was the hard part was coming down. If you didn't watch your step, of course.
Were you rappelling down?
Well, then sometimes if it was steep, you had to rappel down. Yeah.
Was this on the C Street cliffs, or where was this? Do you remember where?
They had a big cliff right out of the camp, right out of the campground there. Yeah.
How about what was the most funny experience that you had during training?
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that.
Can't think of that? Well, how about if we talk a little bit about when you got over to Italy? Were you in 85 by then?
Oh yeah.
You were in
Yes.
85 by then?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about what your first bit of action was when you got over to Italy in 85?
Well, the first bit of action we had was we were stationed at I can't think of it. Montecatini.
Were you near Querciola?
Pardon?
Were you near Querciola?
I don't remember the name. Oh, geez, the other one.
Do you remember when General Hayes talked to you guys before the Mount Belvedere action?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
What do you remember about that?
Well, he gave the big spiel that how good we are, and oh yeah. As far as we were concerned, we didn't know.
Did you guys feel like you were that good?
Well, nah, we didn't think we were any better than anybody else, but other than we had stiffer training, So. Well, the first time, speaking of, we were stationed in Prunetta, Italy, and from there we went on patrols. Went on a few night patrols, trying to observe the enemy, where they were, what they were doing, and so forth.
Tell her about the church, the bell tower.
Well, every night we were pretty close to a church, and every night at a certain time this bell was ringing, and we were almost sure that it was the enemy was talking to whoever was in town and giving them some kind of signals. We weren't sure, but.
And the bells was part of the whole signal thing?
Yeah, I think so. Do
you know where that church was?
Was that Prunetta?
No. Well, Prunetta, we stayed at I don't recall how long we stayed in Prunetta, but when we got there, they told us you guys can find yourself a place to stay with any private, if you want to stay in a private home or whatever. And we did find a home to stay in. We stayed with this woman and her husband, and they had one small child. And every night before we went to bed, this woman take a charcoal pot, she put a bowl in her bed, warm up our bed for us. Well, we thought that was pretty nice.
That's pretty deluxe.
Yeah.
I can't get anybody to do that for me now.
But what about
that
the
was
chicken
impressive.
Dinner too?
She didn't cook
she
too
didn't
much.
cook?
No.
Oh, I thought you had a dinner there. I'm sorry.
But we had a bunch of a few of the guys that worked in, like Escanaba, worked in a mess hall, and they let's say they took a few things out of the mess hall and gives to these private parties in the town. And this one night they got a few of us guys together, and they made a beautiful meal out of it. Whatever, I can't remember what we had even, but it was good, real good.
So were you able to treat the Italians to that beautiful meal?
We compensated for before we left. I think at that time, $20, big money. I think we slipped in $20. Give them a few clothes, army clothes, that they know they wouldn't miss.
Did you have a sense that they were really grateful that you guys were there?
Yes, we did. Yeah, they really thought that we were helping them out.
When General Hayes was giving you the sort of pep talk before Belvedere, do you remember him saying no loaded guns and
That was true.
Tell me what
No.
you remember.
No loaded guns, because this was all taking place in the night after dark, and they didn't want anybody firing any guns. They didn't want to give away our positions, and that's why they had. But it didn't take long. When the shooting started, everybody started loading their guns.
What do you remember thinking when he said no loaded guns?
Wow, what's this going to be? Hand-to-hand combat? You know, that's what we were thinking. And I think they said at the time what they used to call fixed bayonets. Okay, you had to put your bayonet on your rifle. We thought, well, this is going to be something else. But it turned out we never had to use them.
When you were going up Mount Belvedere, were you subjected to a lot of shelling?
Lots of shelling. In fact, we had quite a few of our company commander and about 3-4 other guys were killed instantly when we got to the top. So they was.
When you were going up to it, can you sort of describe what the chaos of battle was like as you were going up?
Well, in combat there's a lot of chaos. You know, I'm sure a lot of guys got shot probably by our own fire, which is hard to tell. But we were under extreme bombarding, let's put it that way.
And what was your strategy for making it through?
Keep your head down, Fritzy boy. That's what we used to sing when we were in this. Sing to the Germans, keep your head down, Fritzy boy. If you want to see the father in the fatherland, keep your head down, Fritzy boy.
Hadn't heard that before.
Never heard that one.
No, I didn't either.
Were there times when you thought that on that first night on Belvedere that you might not make it?
Oh yes, I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was.
What were you thinking?
Well, what would you think? I don't know.
How much stuff were you carrying with you?
Well, we weren't really that loaded. I don't recall, but I don't think we were that, like we used to carry 90 pounds of rucksack. We didn't have 90 pounds with us then, because we were supposed to, in combat and take over, and then all your supplies would be brought later on.
Were you a sergeant by then?
Yeah.
So you probably didn't have to
But-
carry a whole bunch of stuff.
No.
Did you run into minefields on the way out?
Yes.
Tell
Well,
me.
we never, on Belvedere I never ran into minefields, but on Hill 913 there were a lot of minefields. In fact, I think I got hit by mines when I was up in there.
Tell me about what the minefields looked like and what they were like.
Well, you didn't know. They'd have wires strung or trip wires, and in the dark, how you gonna see them?
On Hill 913, was it dark when you were going up?
No, it was in the daylight.
light.
That was the daylight. Yeah.
Do you remember seeing frozen mines at all on the way up Hill 913?
I remember seeing tripwires.
Was
At that time, well, everybody's on the go. You're running all the time, or trying to, and everything was kind of terraced, So we tried to stay behind the walls so we wouldn't get hit.
But tell her about the experience of the Germans and that house there that you wanted to make that, what was it, like a little farmhouse or something? You remember that? And you could hear something upstairs?
Oh, we were on patrol one night, and we came to this farmhouse. And we got into the house, and we started up a stairway. And all of a sudden we heard a bunch of rustling. Well, I was almost to the top of the stairway, and I made one big jump, and I thought, this is going to be it if I don't get out of here. Well, it ended up, we don't know what it was. What was in that farmhouse at that time, we didn't know. But we stayed in that farmhouse all night, through the next day, and the Germans were out there in their foxholes and everything. We could hear them. You could look out and you could see them milling around, But we thought, well, if they ever find out we're here, that'll be it.
Boy, did we get in the wrong spot.
God, we get in the wrong
Oh.
spot.
Oh, they didn't know you were there.
No, they
Oh.
didn't know we were there because we had gone in at night, and we stayed that day, the whole day.
Was this before Belvedere?
No, this was yeah, no, it was after Belvedere.
9:13?
That was for that before 9:15. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now you were in a position that you could see them, but they couldn't see you. Did you ever think about taking a few of them out, or you didn't want to give away your position?
No.
Oh, there wasn't
We just
enough
want to
of
keep
them,
quiet.
see?
In fact, they didn't want us to snore. Well, how could you sleep?
Isn't that something?
What did you see when you got to the top of Mount Belvedere?
Oh, we could see Germans taking off and running. And then the guys that we lost. And from then on, it was, well, between there and Hill 913, we did a lot of like guard duty and stuff like that, and watching for counterattacks.
When you were at the top of Mount Belvedere, did you receive a counterattack?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Do you remember being at the top of Hill 913 and getting in any grenade fights?
I never got to the top. I didn't make up there. I got hit in the meantime, and I had to go back to aid station.
How about on top of Belvedere? Do you remember any grenade fights on the top of Belvedere?
No, I don't. No.
But he got hit the same day as Bob Dole. See, that was his lieutenant.
Oh, what was Bob Dole like? as a
I don't.
lieutenant?
I didn't know him that well.
'Cause
No,
he was only
he was just a
18 days.
replacement. He was only I don't know how many days exactly, but he wasn't with us very long before he.
He was a replacement.
It was that. Yeah, he was a replacement for the guys that had gotten killed, for the lieutenants.
What happened to the lieutenant before?
We knocked off. And then we had our company commander got killed on Belvedere. He was an All-American for football player for I think it was Nebraska at the time.
How did that affect you guys when you lost your captain?
Well, so what? It just happens.
Now tell me about the day that you were injured.
Well, let's see. Started out. It was fairly early in the morning. We started out. We had to wait for the Air Force. They bombed the hell out of that out of the area that the Germans were in. We thought it's going to be a piece of cake. Too many going to survive that, all that bombing. Well, we found out different because they were dug in so well that hell, they had been there for I don't know how many months. They were all prepared. They had all our landmines in there.
Yeah, deep holes.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, but you were supposed to tell her when before you got hit. What you were doing, you made a push. Remember that you said.
Well,
run.
we were making a push. We started to make a push, and we were pinned down by machine gun fire and rifle fire out of one of the villas that was on the side of the mountain. And finally, we got somebody got him up in there, whoever it was. I don't know, because then we were told to move forward, run like hell. Last thing I remember, I remember it all, but at the time I don't know if I tripped a mine or if it was a mortar shell or what, but something went off and knocked me to the ground. So right then and there, that's the same time Bob Dole was in the same area, and I got the shrapnel on my back, so I was able to go down to the aid station.
Oh, could you walk to the aid
Yeah,
station?
I walked to the aid station. From there, I went to the hospital then. And I was there, around a month or so in a hospital.
During the whole time you were in battle, what was your most memorable experience?
Well, I remember one time, this guy and I were on patrol, on guard duty. After we had taken, that was after we taken Belvedere. And we were joined up with some South American forces. Our company was joined with them. And we were all dug in. And we were kind of waiting for what we thought was going to be counterattacked. Well, so happened that we did get a lot of shelling. I mean, and I said to this guy with me, I says, holy, I hope we live till morning to see all those holes in the mountain. We didn't think we were going to make it because it was so damn much shelling. But it ended up that we never did get a counterattack. I know what happened. But we were on the top and we were getting it from both sides. That was the bad part. And then we were to relieve some guys that were on outpost. And during the shelling, we could not make it. We couldn't make it. Lucky thing we did, because when they got back, the artillery had made a direct hit on where they were staying. So we were lucky. They were lucky, not us. They were.
Do you feel like you might have used up about 9 lives?
Yeah, not really. Not really. We're lucky. Well, you figure one out of 3 is going to get hit. I don't recall exactly how many guys. It seems to me that we lost 42 out of our company killed. And I believe there was around 130 or 140 wounded out of 200.
That's
Roughly
just about
200.
everybody. If
200.
you add it
200.
together, if you're not killed or wounded, who's left standing?
Yeah. Say 1 out of every 3 at least.
Tell her what happened to Woody when he with the
Oh
helmet.
yeah, I had a friend. This is on Belvedere.
Real good friend.
He was a scout with our company commander. And when they got to the top, the company commander got shot. They said he got shot right between the eyes. Anyhow, this Woody, he got a bullet right in his helmet here, and when it hit, it ricocheted and come out the other side, just skin the top of his head. He was lucky.
Wow, that was lucky.
Yeah,
That's a close shave.
yeah, that was a close shave. Shaved a little hair off.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Do you remember during the March offensive when, do you remember Punchboard Hill or all the shelling in that Melanzoni Bridge area
Parts.
for
No.
you guys?
No.
No? Okay. Do you remember when FDR died?
Yeah. What?
Tell me
No,
what
it's
you
just-
remember about when FDR died.
Well, we had just heard that he had died, and then well, everybody was sad about it. What are you gonna do?
Do you remember jumping off right after that?
What was the date of that? I can't remember.
April 13th.
April. Yeah, that's right. We dropped off on the 14th. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think the 10th Mountain Division shaped your life?
I really don't know. I don't know what it would have been like if I hadn't been in there. So.
I wouldn't be here.
Think so?
If you would've got killed.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to have been in the 10th Mountain Division?
Well, I thought it was a great outfit, and the guys are great. That's why they get along so good now together. You know. It was probably a little publicized. There were a lot of outfits that went to a lot more than we did, actually, in time and that. I don't know, like say how these guys in the infantry that were in combat for maybe a couple of years had no fear, I'm sure. I don't know. You get, you don't care. Well, that's about it.
Did you ever have any instances where you were with POWs, German POWs?
They had POWs.
But did you ever have any occasions where you captured any, or?
Well, they captured a lot of them. Yeah.
Tell me
Well,
about-
they gave up. They gave up. So then they had guys watching them.
Tell me, do you ever have any cases where you directly took German prisoners?
No, I didn't know.
Did you,
No.
have
The only prisoners I remember was when I went to the first aid station. They had some down there, and they're all trying to get in the buildings, and they kicked their ass out of there. So if they're going to shell this place, you're going to get it, not us.
oh, this is when you're being treated.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Did the Germans help at the aid station at all? Do you remember that?
Not that I remember. No.
Did you ever have any occasion to encounter SS troops?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
What do you
Yeah.
think is the legacy that the 10th Mountain Division leaves?
Well, I think it's left an impression on a lot of the fellas that are in there now, because they did go, we did go through quite a bit. I'll say that in the short time that we were there.
Can you think of anything else that we should add or that I didn't touch on? That
Well, when we went back in '85, he climbed what was it, Hill 913, and he found the foxholes. They were still there, with all covered with leaves, and he found the first aid station where he ran when he got injured. So that brought.
That was before we got to Hill 913. We were dug
Was it?
in before that, and then when they made the push, we got out.
But I mean,
that's
you
where we
found,
found-
but you found the spot.
Well,
where-
in a spot where
yeah,
all
where he went.
yeah.
The first aid station was still there.
what were you thinking when you went back there?
I don't know. I didn't really.
Can you think of anything else we should add?
Well, the one thing I thought was kind of funny when we went back in '85, tell them about this one guy saw this farmer.
Oh,
with them,
yeah.
She was feeding the chickens.
Yeah, we
That
thought
really was
it's
something.
hard to believe, but that's what he said. We were reminiscing going along the route that we had taken during the war, and this one guy came to this farmhouse, and this woman was feeding the chickens out of a mess cup, and he asked her to take a look at it, and he took a look at the mess cup, and it was one that he had left there.
His name was engraved on the cup.
He had
was
scratched
on
his
that
name on
trip,
it.
And he was on that trip.
What was his name?
His name was Marty Damon. He was from Texas.
It was Marty Daneman's cup?
You know the Marty Damon?
You
Yeah,
know,
because
Marty.
I was up on Mount Gorgolesco this winter filming, and he told me to look for a triangle that he lost. Something else he lost. That guy's always losing stuff.
Oh.
Honest.
It was a bell, a triangle bell.
Oh.
He was in charge of warning people for gas.
Oh.
And he lost it on Mount Gorgolesco. He wanted me to look
Oh,
for it.
for goodness. Yeah, Marty and,
And then-
his son.
Then
came.
we had a banquet. One of the nights we were there, we had a banquet, and they presented him with this mess cup, and they told him how much
He owed-
money he owed to the government for all those years.
Lost
that the-
property.
Yeah.
Carelessness.
His carelessness, he didn't take care of his equipment.
Good deal.
It was really an experience.
I have like one bit of tape left. Is there anything else that we want to add?
I don't think so.
All right, good deal.
And just, yeah.